Okay, so I'm here. You may have a cup of green tea. I'll probably have some coffee a little later on. But listen, first off, I wanted to talk about love today. I really did. It's beautiful. It is. And I'm so grateful for this experience, for my man. Because I don't know, I would not say he makes me gush, because I'm not gushing. I'm not that kind of person. But I'm happy. So, on my way to getting here, and I had to tell people, you want something in your life, give it some attention, but don't give it a whole lot of attention. I have to be honest that before, like, I met him way before we got together. Twice. The second time was the time that, you know, he made his intentions very known. First time, it wasn't the time at all. I wasn't checking for anybody, and he was with somebody. It just wasn't that. We just met at a function. But the second time that we met, he was definitely there, and I just wasn't, because I was just coming out of something, and I was like, I wasn't trying to hear it. You understand me? And I knew I had to go on a healing journey, and it's so crazy how the universe sets everything. What happened was, I had decided at the end of 2019 that I was going fast. I guess coming into 2020, I decided I was going to fast. A water fast. You can literally see it on this channel. It is back there with me talking about my water fasting. So, I did the water fast, and the relationship was ending right in the beginning of that water fast. And I was in no way ready to even consider the idea of talking to anybody. And I mean just talking, like, what? But the water fasting helped me to get on this journey of healing. I knew I had to heal, because a lot of stuff had been happening, and I was just like, nah. It's time for things to change the way that they happen. And so the first thing I did, I remember that year, I did the water fast. The next cleanse I did was D-herbs. I think it was the female cleanse. Then later on, I got the full body cleanse. I also got the goddess body cleanse. Like, I was doing this cleansing. But eventually, it really dawned on me, like, you're doing all this cleansing, and emotionally, you're still not there. During this time, I started to really contemplate changing my life around big time, because I had a goal set, and it looked like everything was happening in the world to allow me to be able to do it, but I was very scared, so I didn't do it. let me tell you, I did those cleanses into the summer, fall time. So it's D Herbs, it's Goddess Body. And D Herbs I did twice. So I got 2 different kits from them, with some space in between. So, and if you look back in those videos, you can kind of see, like, my skin was like that. It was really, I was coming through a lot. It was looking much better. And that's 2020 in particular. You can see it. It's right in the videos. It's clear. But then 2021 came around. At the end of 2020, actually, I became aware of a situation at my place of work that made me make some decisions. I essentially checked out. And then I got, like, it was like the clock was ticking, like tick, tick, tick. Like, how long you going, what you doing? And I made a big decision there in 2021. And I will say to people again, just station break pause here. We're talking about love. But we're going to station break pause to it. Crystal, Moldavite will change your life. And so, if you're looking for a life changer, get a piece of Moldavite. I have one lady, I think her name is Messy Awakenings on Instagram, and it might be her name at Etsy. That's who I've got my Moldavite from, and I'm telling you, this stuff works. Things that you would think about in angst and not really do, you would just continue to go with the status quo, go along with your routine. You break up and change some things. This was a big change for me because I'm used to always working. That change came in 2021. Then in 2022, I started to realize, it was like the screws were being tightened in my life. And I was also letting a lot of stuff go, like a lot of thought forms. 2022 was probably a year, it was a rock'em sock'em year. It was a big year when I look back on it, as far as everything that started from literally the top of the year. And I'm talking about January, early January. I think by January 5th, everything was rocking. All the way through to the end. I really did, the pedal was to the metal, and I really didn't have any time to stop. But sometime in around April of 2022, I was in a group over at Facebook. I cannot remember the name. But they had, like, you know, a lot of these Facebook groups, check the files, because sometimes they'll have some gems in there. This one had a gem in there. They had this PDF of shadow work, and I started doing it. And shadow work, as you really do it, and I'm gonna point back to some other things I did even earlier than this. Okay, I'm gonna get into those. Wait a minute, I think I did those in 2022. Yeah, I was busy in 2020. But let's get back to 2022. 2022, I found this prompt for shadow work. It was 25 pages, and honey, or 25 prompts, or 25 questions, something like that. And honey, I came out of that writing down those answers, just grabbing computer paper and writing and writing and writing and writing, and being very honest with myself, breaking and getting to the core, like deciding to really answer questions. I came out of that changed. Then I took a manifestation course, and a lot of questions that I thought I had the answers to were confirmed. I was like, I knew about that, I knew about that. Certain things, like just a lot of stuff over time, but it takes consistency to really kick a lot of stuff in, right? So that's when we had the homework of writing our affirmations. And I wrote my first, I don't want to say maybe 30 affirmations. I went looking around for them and all that kind of stuff. And when I say looking around for them, it was really looking for ideas. And I built them off of the 12 laws of the universe, especially the first 12 affirmations. They're literally put together. I wrote those down in a way that I wasn't saying cause and effect, but the affirmation was literally a cause and effect, or compensation, or gender, or rhythm, or polarity, or relativity, or perpetual transmutation of energy, or inspired action, or attraction, or correspondence, or vibration, or divine oneness. Once I did that, it's like I was cooking with gas. Everything at that time, because I walked away from my job, was about money. Literally about money. And it's like I was in this holding pattern with the universe. And I was in the dugout trying to figure it out. I was down there with the other players on the team trying to figure out what was going on. But I put one affirmation in about my love life. Just one. But the rest of it was very heavy on changing my mindset around money, which you have to do if you're an entrepreneur. You have to change your mindset around money. How you get it, where it comes from, what it is. You have to change your mindset around it. You have to. So everything I wrote was about that. Then eventually I put in affirmations around my health. I'm probably going to add some more about that, to be honest. And then I put in affirmations around femininity, because I did a live video here in 2022. If you go to my lives, and you will see I discussed this. It's around November, I believe, or December, maybe even October of 2022. And I also put in, like, one of my favorite phrases I like to say, it's a holdover from Abraham Hicks. It's literally, the better it gets, the better it gets. That sucker works. I don't know how. But I've been saying that for years. And I wrote it down. It's one of those things that I definitely repeat throughout the day. But I found others. There are other creators. There are other YouTubers. There are other people with Instagram posts. There are other books. I picked back up a series that recent that I want to read again. So I'm back into Sanaya Roman. But I started those affirmations and really actively saying them, I want to say about July, maybe August of 2022. It was good. It is good. I still do them. I did even more. I think the manifestation course had us doing more shadow work. I have since started buying shadow work books. Anything that can go in and allow me to change my beliefs around something that is an old, like I'm in a rock quarry about, like I'm not coming out of that bad boy. So, like I have one on my mind that I want to get soon. But I have some other prompts that I'm working on right now, and I've got one book sitting in my iBooks, and like I need to finish some other things. So in doing the affirmations on a regular basis, coming from that hurt place, and I would say many years of just, you know, things not working out, to now land in a place of happiness and love and beauty is no small feat. It's not something that you do by chance. There are some people who are really the exception to the rule that meet their mates very early in life. And there are some people that don't meet them until later. Like, I didn't officially meet him, and I would say on this type time, until we were both very grown. Our children are grown. Like, I did not meet him for that purpose until then. And when we sat down and started comparing notes, we started to realize that our lives have been slowly following each other for years. Like, years. Hi. Meaning that we could have been living around the corner from each other. Not necessarily right around the corner, but let's say I'll pull out of the lot to my complex, make a left, go to the next light, make a right. And as I'm driving down that street, go through a couple of stop signs, he was living right over there. I didn't know that at the time, but I was circling him a lot. A lot. Okay. Then we sort of grew up not too far from each other. He's older than I am, so he was out jumping into life much earlier than I was. We, like, things that have been permanent in my life, my exposure to different experiences and stuff like that, he may have been there just before I got there. Like, take, for instance, what is one of the things that, I mean, if I were to look into it, when I first got involved in being exposed to Orisha, I was formally exposed to them, and the formal exposure was at this temple here. I came in a certain year. He had just left. He had just left. Like, literally. I want to say maybe months before I got there. Months. Maybe a year. I don't think it was a year. I think it was months. And as we put together dates and times, like, dang, wait a minute, where were you? I was around the corner. This is just our life over time. I'm younger than him, so I've always been kind of coming behind him. When we finally did meet on that type of time, I wasn't ready. Like I said, I was coming out of something that was, sucker threw me under, okay? But I took the time to really heal. I realized, I said, girl, your emotions all over the place. You got to fix this. So that shadow work was key. I wish I could tell. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember handwriting it out. I will also give you another form of shadow work that I did. Because that shadow work that I'm talking about, the one that I'm really remembering, is 2022. It was just very practical. It asks real practical questions. Like, on the only other thing that I've seen that's similar to it is Mindvalley. And I have to say, I did Mindvalley probably 2 years ahead of that. And it was probably maybe the first thing that cracked, it was just like that type of nut that needed to really, it was the walnut that needed to really be cracked. And I think the stuff with Vishen Lakhiani over at Mindvalley helped me to start to open and heal those things. But that was in 2020. Because I remember the process was with him and Michael Beckwith. I cannot remember the name of it at all. I'm so sorry to be not as informative as I can. But the great thing about Mindvalley and Vishen Lakhiani, they have everything over there. Please go to his website and peruse what he offers. Stuff is good, okay? Allowing yourself to heal is a key thing. And sometimes you have to ask yourself these jarring questions that your friends are never going to ask you. They'll show you observations, but they may not ever ask you this stuff. It's good to do things that will open you up and allow you to really let go of old paradigms so that your life can change. So in so doing, I was able to pinpoint a lot of old hurts and pains that I was holding on to. And a lot of old patterns that I had developed and was continuing to perpetuate that I needed to stop. All of these many different things that I did, like I believe fasting takes you there, especially fasting with water. Because when you fast with water, like, you're just like this empty vessel. It's the best way that I can explain it. And when you put prayer to it, meditation and everything, it just really changes your life. I've been fasting for years. Then the herbal cleanses helped me even more, more herbal cleansing got me more in tune with eating a lot of watery food, specifically in 2020. Then 2021, Moldavite came in. These things, wanting to force a change in my life, wanting things to be different, knowing that there's something bigger out here for us and that we are bigger than the little paltry lives that most of us have been living. I knew and still know that there is a lot more out here to discover, and invite you along on my journey as I share with you the different things. But the reason why I'm here today is, like I said, I'm talking about love. All of that work, the fasting, the detoxing, the crystal work, which I didn't think had nothing to do with this, because I am a very goal-driven, oriented person. I'm a very, I want to get down to the bottom line. I'm looking at the ledgers. I'm looking at, is this a viable process? I'm a risk taker. I'm going to do things that other people, you crazy? Like, okay, I'll be crazy. But life, I don't think is here to play it safe and everything works out the safe, perfect way, because ultimately that's a lie. And the limitations that are put on you based on safety are something to discuss in another video, because, honey, I can get it off in a tangent with that. But nonetheless, I really wanted to push that boundary, because for years, my safety was being by myself. Dalliances here, and there, but nothing that was sticking. Nothing that was becoming a consistent, beautiful, loving experience and reflection and, you know, being with someone. It's just very different. So doing that work is what allowed me to become available. And it's like it all lined up in time the way it needed to line up. There's more to our story, and maybe one day I will completely tell the story, probably with him. But all I can say is that for people, and I say this once again, even for those who are older in life, which I think is probably a perfect time to find someone, do that work and heal and let go of things that you're holding on to, especially as a woman, especially as a black woman, especially as any woman, really, at this point, to be honest with you, who's just stuck and by yourself, like things aren't working out. Do that work. I'm telling you, just type in shadow work at Amazon. Type in shadow work at iBooks. Type in shadow work at Kindle. Okay? And begin to do that work. Once you put that out there, the universe will chase you with shadow work. You'll start to get all kinds of recommendations for different sorts of shadow work that you can do that will allow you to ask questions of yourself that you have not been willing to ask yourself. But this is a private practice. And you write that stuff down and really look at it. And I'm going to tell you, you think it's nothing. But as I mentioned in a video yesterday, I have been stuck. I have something in my files right now I need to finish. In my files on this phone. But the last question really ripped me up a bit. And I've done other things. I done created a poem. I done found more affirmations. But this has to be finished, and I have to move forward. Because getting in and asking yourself the hard questions also helps to let go of things that are stuck to you, like emotional plaque. An emotional plaque will hold your life up. Emotional tartar that needs to be scraped off. Think of shadow work like oil pulling. Because you're being proactive. Having a break, because sometimes we have a breakthrough that requires that we're sitting with someone on a regular basis until we can really get our minds around why we have lost touch with a couple of things. But if you can do this yourself, for yourself, you're going to see some improvements in your life somewhere. And I do believe that if you are looking for love and you are a little jaded, just one affirmation, but write affirmations about the rest of your life on everything else, and don't make everything about love. Just don't. Just one. Okay? If you have a house that you are renovating, make everything else about renovations. If you have a job that you are trying to ascend into, a new career, make everything else about your career. One affirmation about love, and a general one. And don't make it a page long. It should be a paragraph. If that, it could be half a paragraph. And it should be simple. One thing I've seen and have experienced is that people get very specific around this affirmation of love. Because it's like, because we've been through so much, we think that we've been forgotten by God. But you haven't been. One affirmation in generality. And then you meet. Oof. you meet your person when you're supposed to. And sometimes it's later in life. It's okay for it to be later in life. It is. It is. It's okay. When we first got together, he was having a fit over that. Why now? I was like, because it's now. It's now. But it was good, you know. It has been good. It's been one of the most life-affirming spirit-affirming, God-affirming, faith-affirming experiences I've ever had. And I'm here to tell you that. So, one affirmation out of many. Do not make 2 and 3. Just one. And then focus your life in other things that you can immerse yourself in. If it's cooking, I don't care what it is. If it's keeping your house clean, you know what I mean? Make your life about those other things, but allow this to kind of be there as something you say. When you get to a point of healing with the shadow work, it's going to be like, okay, I'm open to this. I'm open to this. And if you feel like right now, well, I am open, so I don't need to do it. No, you need to do it. You need to do it. Shadow work, healing. There's so many different ways to do this that I would recommend. And it's funny, as a spiritual advisor, pioneer, who my process is to go throughout the world finding spiritual modalities, breakthroughs that help humanity. And I come here all over social media telling everybody about the things that I find. And I'm sharing this because it is key. And I can help many people with putting together a list of affirmations. I really can. You know, I'm not an affirmation guru, but I'm going to tell you right now, affirmations do exactly what affirmations are supposed to do. The one thing I want to say about affirmations, don't have a timeline on anything. They work quicker that way. Believe it or not. You begin to have the connectives happening. It's like a softening of old thought forms that eventually get washed away, and the new process is brought in, and then the new experiences come in to back up the new processes that you have now put into your brain. Your mindset has been changed. If you need help with this, please go to the link in the description, because this is going to be over at YouTube. This is another long form video. I have a consultation button you can click, and we can get to working on this together. I work with a lot of people on many different things, but I wanted to share the way that I came to a place of being okay with allowing love to come into my life and no longer holding it back, because that's literally what I did when I met him. I was like, no. And it wasn't a no to him. It was a no to him, but it wasn't a no to him. It was a no to love at that moment, coming in any form. Like, nah, I'm out of this, and I'm really hurt. And, yeah, you know, I have some cancer tendencies with me, so I like to go close my shell and not let you touch nothing. You can't help me at all. And so it was impossible for me to feel anything at that time. And when I finally did feel it, I had to really, I had to apologize to him, because he had been there for some time. I hadn't been. But in a non-evolved and unhealed state, no, I did not feel that I was in a place to invite him into my life in that way. And then when I finally got there, I was like, I can do this. And it was just one affirmation out of many. My affirmations are up to 100 now. And I try and do them a couple times a day. But before he and I got together, they were up to 60. It was one affirmation out of 60. And I would just read it and go, okay, you know. And we'll see. And then the magic was happening. It had been happening probably since the day I constructed it. Because I was open and I was healed. I was in this place of, I'm not feeling that bad. I think it's out there. And I happen to be put into, this is something else that I will say, because in the place where I got the idea, not the idea, but I was inspired. As I've read many different affirmations over the years, you know, journaling and everything. But I was inspired to really make a list by a young woman who was bubbly and happy and getting ready to get married at the end of 2022. She got married in this November of 2022. Very excited. And she's just like all around this butterfly of love. And her public persona is more so about business. She talks about love, but more so about business. But in that class with her and listening to the different women talk about relationships and stuff like that, and I wasn't there for that. I was there for business. And little did I know the blessing that class was going to be for me at that time. Turned into me just writing one affirmation. And it's mine. It's very simple. And it was so funny. We were praying for each other and reading each other. So we were intimate with each other and understanding what it is that we wanted. And I know that mine was just very like, wow, she didn't really put much into this, did she? I really didn't. Because I was there for business. And what came out of it is love. So one day I will tell the whole story. He will tell it with me. He's been telling random people anyway, so we share with the world. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Don't give up. I don't care how old you are. Love is out there for you. Shadow work, healing, and affirmation. Those are the 3 steps. You are just 3 steps away from your love. Peace.